It didn't fall apart all at once. It began quietly, almost unnoticeably. Messages she used to answer instantly were left unseen. Her evenings stretched longer, and her smile carried a strange emptiness whenever I tried to pull her close. I kept convincing myself that she was just overwhelmed. 10 years of marriage teaches you to expect ups and downs, but there was a nagging uneasiness inside me, a voice telling me something had shifted. The tenderness that once lit up her face now felt like it was meant for someone else. One Friday, instead of heading home like usual, I decided to listen to that voice. She had mentioned staying late to finish some urgent work, but when I drove by her building, the lot was deserted, every spot empty. A cold heaviness settled in my chest. I kept driving, scanning the nearby streets, restaurants, and cafes. Then, through the warm glow of a small bar window, I spotted her. She sat at a corner table, leaning forward with a drink in hand. Across from her sat a man I had never seen, and she was laughing in a way I hadn't heard from her in months. It was a kind of laugh that had once been mine, shared on quiet nights, inside jokes, whispered moments. Watching her give that part of herself to someone else felt like being punched in the ribs. I walked inside. The air felt thick. My heart beat loud enough to drown out the music. She didn't notice me right away. She was too busy brushing her hair behind her ear and touching his arm with a familiarity that made my stomach twist. When she finally looked up and saw me, the joy drained from her face in an instant. The man shifted, confused and uncomfortable. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I didn't even ask why. None of those things could match the weight of what I already understood. I went straight to their table. Her lips trembled like she wanted to speak, but nothing came out. I slid my wedding ring off. 10 years of vows, memories, and trust, and placed it on the table. The sound of the metal hitting the wood cut through the room. Her fingers shook as she reached for it. "Please, wait," she whispered, her voice thin and breaking. But I had already waited long enough. That ring had once symbolized loyalty and devotion. She had traded it for stolen moments with a stranger. I looked at her one final time, not with rage, but with a clarity I hadn't felt in months. The entire bar seemed to freeze. Even the man across from her looked ashamed, unable to lift his head. But he wasn't the one who mattered. He never promised me anything. She had promised everything. I turned and walked away. Every step felt like shedding a weight I hadn't realized I was carrying, heavy with the hurt of betrayal, but lighter because the truth was finally out in the open. She called my name, her voice cracking, but I didn't turn around. Some endings don't need a final look. Outside, the night air hit my lungs like a shock. For the first time in weeks, I could breathe. It hurt. But beneath the pain was a strange sense of release, the kind that comes when you stop fighting for something that died long before you admitted it. She made her choice long before I found her in that bar. And by leaving the ring behind, I made mine. The road ahead would be hard, maybe lonely, but at least it would be real. No more pretending. No more waiting for someone who had already left me in her heart. She offered her laughter to another man, so I left her the ring she no longer honored. That moment closed a chapter of us and opened a new one for me, a story I would write on my own.